Keith, how did you find carnivore?
So I've tried all sorts of different diets in the past. Like I'm mostly low carb now. I've never been vegan or anything like that. So mostly tried some sort of a meat kind of based diet, but before would have been mostly chicken and that sort of stuff. I would have been more like high fat, low carb, but I would have followed Dave Asprey for a long time. Would have drank bulletproof coffee, all that sort of stuff, intermittent fasting and that. But it never really worked for me. Like I had a little bit of success, but nothing major. I didn't really realize it was the carbs and the sugar lurking behind it. The sugar addiction really was for me, and caffeine as well. Like I lived on caffeine. So I had seen and heard about the carnivore diet before, but honestly, like I thought it was nonsense. Like, like just eat meat and you'll be healthy. It was like, yeah, right. Do you know what I mean? That's not going to happen. So I was like, right, yeah, don't know about that. Like, and I wouldn't have been big on steak either, like before. Um, hmm, growing up, I would have if I got steak at home, my mom would have always cooked it like well done. Like my dad just likes his steaks well done. Like yeah, just get the chicken. It's a waste. Like so, I never really liked it. So that's kind of why I never really liked it. And yeah, so just last year I put on a lot of weight last year, and I was never like obese or anything, but I just wasn't happy with myself, and I knew myself I could look and feel better. So I just went searching, and then I saw more and more carnivore, and then like everyone says, "Oh, you just saw Joe Rogan and all that," and I was like, "Yeah, I saw Joe Rogan and all, but that wasn't what pushed me to it. Like it helped, all right." And obviously, I saw Dr. Baker, like, and then I was like, "Right, there's something to this." Like then I came across Dr. Chafee. That was just opened up a world for me there. And then I was saying to my wife, I'm thinking about doing carnivore, and then I could see her rolling her eyes, going, right, yeah, another one of these diets, like, yeah. So then she follows, do you know Davinia Taylor? She's in the UK. I think she was in soap opera. I'd never heard of her before, and my wife follows her anyway on Instagram. And she says Dr. Chafee's going to be on live with her. So I was like, right, okay, we'll have a look. I'll have a look at this. So I had a look at. I had to actually watch the rerun of it, and then that was it. Just everything he said was just like, oh my god, this is a doctor, and he's explained this in terms that I can understand, and this looks like this is something for me. So I said, right, well, I'll give it a go anyway and see what happens. So I said, I'll give it a go for a month. So I was going, this was around Christmas time. So I was going the whole new year, new me, all this, the usual nonsense every year. Like, so I was like, right, I had a trip to Chicago New Year's Day, and I was bringing the wife and kids with me. So I said, we're due back on the 3rd of January. So I said, right, 3rd of January, that's it. I'm going cold turkey, just going straight into it. So I did. Like we landed back from Chicago, we get in about 5 a.m. And normally I'd be home, cup of coffee because you're all over the place. And I was like, no, that's it. So like I ate my body weight now over there when I was like carbs. I had everything, you name it, I had it because this was it. This was my blowout. So yeah, started it, and I just haven't looked back. I want to do it for the month, and the more podcasts, more stuff like yourself, or YouTube, Instagram, everywhere I could get it, I was just getting more and more information. And everywhere I looked, they were saying you need to do it 3 months to get like a real idea of the benefits. So I was like, right, if I can last a month, I'll do it 3 months. So I got through the month anyway, and then I was like, right, there's no going back here. Like it's just too good. So the weight was just by 8 weeks, like there was a dramatic change in how I looked and everything. So I was like, right, this is it. I'm just gonna stick with it.
So, was it just a weight thing that took you in this direction?
Initially, yeah, that and like I never really been too bothered about the numbers on the scale. It was more how I looked and how I felt. So I had a fair bit of fat, like the usual gut, man boobs, that sort of stuff. And I was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu 5 nights a week, and I was lifting maybe twice, 3 times a week, and just nothing wasn't coming off. It was maybe like bulking up a bit, like you get a pump after you work out and all that. There's nothing like, and then like the thing that really made it for me was there was a coach in Alabama that one of my coaches trains under, and he's a big name. BMAC is his name. He's a big name in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I was getting the chance to meet him. And I'd been to Orlando in the November, and we came back. I think it was 2 days after we came back. He was doing a seminar in the gym that I was in, and like I was dying to meet this guy. Like he's big name in jiu-jitsu, like. So I got a photograph with him, and I looked at the photograph after, and I was like, the state, like I was dying to put this on my Instagram, like, I met BMAC, yeah. I saw the photograph, and I was like, look at the head, and like the gut on me and all. So I was like, right, that was it. So it was kind of really there was my turning point. But yeah, when I got into the carnivore then, like I started to really feel the effects of the diet and how it was working for me. Um, like that was me really hooked then, like because I just felt so much better from not drinking coffee, cut the carbs out completely, and then like I suffer with arthritis, so you can see my finger, index finger is twisted. So my mom was the same. Now hers was a lot worse. Like like we used to slag her because she'd point at you and you go, "You point at me now," or the fella around the corner, and then. As they say, mocking is catching because I have one now for my sins. But even the kids, like, if they pull carrots out and they'd be all twisted, they'd be like, "That's like Nana's finger." But so anyway, I've got one now for my sins. But that would normally be see up here would normally be raw and red around this time of the year and the cold and all that. And like now, I've nothing. There's no pain at all. See, it'll never straighten out. Like, but the red, like it was pink. It was rotten to look at. Like, and I find it'd be hard. Like if I didn't even see my fingers, I'd always kind of have my hand like this. You know, like right behind my finger to a point, and then I had to get my wedding ring sized up 5 sizes. So now you can see how loose my wedding ring is now. Sorry, I'm going off here from the how much inflammation has gone down. Like
What a
so.
difference.
Oh, I know, it's unbelievable. Like, and I was going to resize it like back down, and I was like, every time that flicks on my finger, it's like a little mental cue. Like that's how much you've done. That's what you could be still living like. So I just can't kind of keep it. It's hopefully I won't lose it, or I'll be killed. She'll have me, But yeah, no. So that's like another little reminder for me, to stick with it. And then um, in my carnivore journey, from listening to Dr. Chafee, there was a particular episode where he spoke about Alzheimer's and uh, how he'd seen that this was the only thing that had reversed or had prevented Alzheimer's. And then my mum passed in April from with Alzheimer's, and like she was too far gone to implement this. She was in the late stages of Alzheimer's before I started really getting on the carnivore diet. But I was looking at my kids, seeing what I was seeing, and seeing my mom going the way she went, and my grandmother went the same, and my aunt. And then when I heard Dr. Chafee saying like that they're calling it type 3 diabetes, I was like I was heading on the how I am not a diabetic already. I don't know, from the amount of sugar and carbs I would have eaten. So when I saw my mom going like that, and then saw, like, for me, if I could stop myself from going down that road and stop my kids having to go through that, like, it'd be just wrong for me not to, like, be very selfish for me personally to keep on the way that I'm going, knowing what I know now. So that's a big push now for me, like, to stay carnivore, because, like, really, I've never felt better, never looked better in my life. Like, I look far better now. I'll be 50 in May, and if you put me side by side with like 25-year-old me or 29-year-old me, like, completely different people. Like, you nearly want to be the other way around, that kind of way. Like, it's shocking, like.
Yeah, it's awesome that it's most people that do this feel like they're aging backwards. It's just fantastic, right?
Yeah, that's probably the best way of explaining it. Yeah, like, it's I train with jiu-jitsu with guys, like, and they're telling me like their dads, struggling to get out of the couch, and like I'm down there 5 nights a week with them, and working out and all that. Like, so it's definitely muscles, use them or lose them. Like, you have to.
So like, how is your energy and joints and things like that for doing jujitsu? Have things changed in that regard?
Yeah, like my energy levels are through the roof. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, like, I could go down fasted for the day and still train no problem. And most of the guys I train with are in their 20s. And although, like, I wouldn't be able to hang with them now, keep up with them, but I'll give it a good go. Like, whereas before, say we might do 3 or 5 minute rounds, and then you have 30 seconds in between. I might do 2 rounds, maybe sit out for two, back in for two. Now I can, if I'm pushing myself, I'll do like 10 rounds in a row. No problem. Just take 30 seconds rest, and then I'll go back at it. Now, obviously, I'll play a different game than the younger guys. Like, I won't be going as high energy or as fast a pace, but you're still going full on, like, for 3 to 5 minutes with a 30-second rest. Like, so it's like I'm well able for it. There's no signs of me slowing down. Anyway, if not, I'm getting better. Like, I'm still working on me resistance and cardio and all that as well. Like, on top of it, but energy levels, like, there's just still enough fat on me to lose. So there's plenty of fat stores there, like so there's plenty to draw on. Like so, I'm not relying on because before, like I'd say I would have done a Chicago, landed at 5, maybe got into bed for 9, and I'd be back down training at 12 in the morning, and but I'd be drinking a can of Monster on the way into the class, and then that would have gotten me through really. Whereas I thought I was okay, but now I could go down and do the class no problem. It's just the energy's there.
Awesome.
Just it's just a stubbornness in my head, just push me
Right.
through. But I know the energy's there. Like,
Yeah. So how about when you take that energy and just the pattern of eating and stuff like that, if you take that into your work, how has it impacted your work, if at all?
yeah, it's funny. I can't go through a day without talking carnivore because people, if I'm on a very early flight, I just won't bother eating, and if I know I'm going to be back early enough, I won't bother bringing any food with me or anything like that. Like so, when everyone else is tucking into cereal and whatever else they're going to eat, they're like, "You're not eating," and I was like, "No, no, I'm not hungry. I don't need. I don't need to. I'll eat when I go home." And they're like, "But we're not home till lunchtime." Like, and I was like, "Yeah, no, I am good, yeah." And they're like, "Oh, right. Why aren't you eating?" And then this will lead down to carnivore, or I'll pull a steak out in the morning. If I'll cook a steak the night before and I'll slice it up, and then I just stick it in the oven and heat it. And they're like, you're having a steak at 8 in the morning." Like, I was like, "Yeah, you're having cereal and God knows what amounts of sugar in the morning." Like, and I'm the one that's wrong. Like, so we go down this conversation, and then they're like, "What about fiber?" I'm like, "Oh my God, don't go there." So we have to go down the fiber rabbit hole. And then, of course, it's the usual cholesterol, you're going to have a heart attack. And I was like, clearly I'm not, but if you want to think that way, go for it. But as far as work wise, yeah, no, it's fine. It's no problem. Like, I've plenty of energy, and like I know I'm not going to starve, even if I am hungry. I know. Whereas before, if you ask my wife, like I would seriously suffer with hunger. It's not fun to be around if I'm hungry. Like especially when I was like full of carbs and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd be pretty irritable. Like if I was hungry.
So yeah, so you're flying intra-Europe most of the times, but
Yeah.
sometimes the US. So it must be convenient, for when there's delays and things like that, being able to fast and not feel like, oh, I've got to eat something. I've got to eat now.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's a little bit uncomfortable at times because even at that, like if you get diverted or whatever, you don't know where I'm going to be able to eat. But yeah, for the most part, I'm like, no, it's fine. I'll eat tomorrow. If I have to wait till tomorrow, I'll eat tomorrow. It's no problem. Whereas, you'll have others beside you, they're going up the wall, like, and they're going mad. Whereas, like, okay, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to die. Like, so that's a bonus. Plus, when I'm traveling, I have the destinations that I go to, especially Chicago. There's a place opposite the hotel that we stay in, and they have a butcher's counter, and beside it they have a grill. So when I land, I go straight over a steak, 2 burgers, and back to the room and eat them. And then the local fast food place is Smash Burger in Chicago. I'm on first name terms with them, and I think I'm nearly part of their training course now because I went in there on Sunday. The guy goes to me, "They told me you were coming." And then the manager was there, like, "Yeah, 10 burgers and bacon for Keith." Like, and he has to explain to him how to do it in the till because when you go in first, like they're trying to charge you $80, and you're like, "No, no, I only want the patties." And like it's like I got 10 burgers the other day, and I got, how many was it? It was 18 bacon. It was $40. It's like it's $25 for a meal. Do you know? So I'm just getting the burgers and the bacon, and I'm good. And that'll do me. Then I get that when I'm coming home. So I'll eat 5 burgers in the hotel. I didn't intend on getting so much bacon, but I just love the bacon. So I had all the bacon in the hotel, and then I couldn't eat the burgers, so I brought the burgers home. So I normally eat 5 of them on board, 5 in the hotel, and that'll keep me going. But
I,
I
I'm
ended up
just
bringing.
I'm just imagining like one of your colleagues seeing you going back to the hotel, balancing all these burger patties, and thinking, "What is going on here?"
I get a few looks from the doorman walking in, and they see the big bag, they're looking, going, "Where's he going with that?" But yeah, I've done before. I've gone in and the grill has been closed, so I just got a whole chicken, just brought the chicken back and ate it, like, so and get a few looks for that as well, like, but needs must.
Yeah. So on a regular day, what does your eating look like? Like how many times are you eating, and what are the meals made up of?
So it'll depend on the day. Like if I'm home and I'm here with the kids, I'll have a breakfast. So it'll be just like maybe 8 or 9 eggs scrambled and like I don't know, 6 or 7 streaky bacon. That would be it. Then I generally wouldn't have lunch, and then every night then I have a Kamado grill. So I'm sure you know the weather in Ireland isn't great. You can probably see just over my shoulder here. I have a gazebo for I have a Kamado grill, and that actually took flight last week during the storms. So I had to take it out of the trampoline. It was in the trampoline there behind me, so that was fun. It was like the Wizard of Oz. We're not in Kansas, Dorothy, you know. So yeah, I had to try and get that out of the trampoline, and it's I'm gonna have to build something for it because it's actually sitting kind of like this at the moment. So yeah. So I have a G clamp from I'm a carpenter by trade, like, but I don't work it anymore. But I have a G clamp from my toolbox holding a section of it together, so it'll get me through till the summer, and then I'm going to build something proper for it. But so in the evenings, then I'll generally have 2 ribeye steaks, and then I'll have a sleeve of bacon or pork ribs. So that'd be my dinner every night. Um, the last few weeks I haven't been as hungry, so I'm just having like 1 ribeye. I have to go to the butcher's today, so every week I go to the butcher's, I always get 2 T-bones. So the guys cut me like big whopper T-bones. So tonight I'll be having T-bone and ribs. But yeah, that's
Mm.
that's generally it. Like if I don't have the T-bones, it'll be was it ground beef? So I'll have mince, eggs, and streaky bacon. That'd be it. But very rarely have chicken anymore. It's really just beef. BBBE, as they say. That'd be my main stuff. Like if I'm training hard or if I'm training more, I'll eat more. And as they say, I'll eat when I'm hungry, and when I'm full, then I stop. Then I'll just keep it for the next day, or the dog loves me. Then do you know.
Yeah. And so has your wife become at all interested in this?
Yeah, I'd say she's about 80% carnivore now. She still drinks and still has some carbs and drinks coffee as well. I know you can drink coffee if you want, but I don't anyway. But yeah, she'd be about 80% carnivore now. Excuse me. Um, then an interesting story with her. Like we would give blood a lot, and 6 months ago she went to give blood, but her hemoglobin was too low. I think it was 11.6 or something like that, and she's like now she'd have a T-bone or not T-bone, a ribeye every night and ribs as well, and then like she'd eat pretty well. Like only really if she goes out she'll have carbs, or sometimes she'll eat some fast food or whatever. She wouldn't be strict carnivore anyway. But when she went to give blood there 2 weeks ago, her hemoglobin was 15.9. So they couldn't believe it, like, because she's always been low iron and kind of anemic, especially when she was pregnant. But now, like, she couldn't believe it as well. Like, so she was that's some rise in 6 months, like, you know. So another testament to carnivore.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, wow. So, like, at this stage, do you feel like this is the way I'll eat forever?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Like, and the amount of people ask me, like, "Oh, how long are you going to do it for?" And I was like, "This is it." Like, do you know, I can't think of a reason to go back the other way. Do you know, like, once I got through the adaptation phase, then like we're honestly like there's been nothing that I could say. Oh God, like I'd love this or I'd love that. The only thing I would say I would miss is coffee. But the only thing I miss really about it is the whole ritual of making it, and then I would sit down and have it with my wife. But now I make bone broth, so when she's having her coffee, I'll have bone broth. So I have that. So like no, I wouldn't. There's too many benefits, and I'm still like getting more and more benefits of it. And I'm still intrigued to see how much better I can get and how much more I can take this, because I got 48 years of abuse, basically, of sugar and all that. Like, so I've a lot of healing to do. You know, like I'm doing well so far for what I've done, but yeah, there's no going back from now. I can't think of any reason to go back. I never really
Yeah, I
liked vegetables
think
anyway. Do you know?
yeah. For me, I feel like even if I was like so craving something, like I don't know, pizza or bread or whatever, I don't think I'd want to go back because as soon as you go back, life becomes difficult again.
Yeah,
And it's difficult, of course, because you start putting a weight back on, but difficult in terms of preparing food and always having something available to eat and all that kind of thing. It's like now it's kind of set and forget. You eat and that's it. You're done.
yeah.
Go about your life.
Exactly. And like I think another point for me is like I really changed my whole concept of food. Like I would have only really eaten to not be hungry. Now I'm only looking at it, it's like sleep. Yeah, I only do it to get myself ready for the day or get myself so I can exist. Do you know what I kind of mean? Like it's like I'm only eating for fuel, so it's not like a big choice. Is like I eat meat. That's what I have. It's like you sleep in a bed. I only eat meat. Do you know? It's like it's as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
it's not a
that's
choice.
right. You're not looking around for variety in your beds every day, right? It's
Yeah,
just it's where I sleep.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
just this is what I eat. Because I'm sure you get this question all the time. Do you not get bored? You not get bored of eating the same thing every day. I was like, how could I get bored of eating steak? Do you know, no. Like I'll eat just maybe a different cut, but like in that, I'd never get bored of eating ribeyes or T-bones. It's just too nice. And then when you see and feel the benefits, definitely no going back.
Yeah. So are you like your butcher's star customer now?
Yeah, yeah. And I'd promote them a lot on Instagram as well. Like so, every time I go to the butcher's, I'll do my butcher's haul after I come back. Like, but yeah, like so when I go in, they're like a few weeks ago, they were like, "Have you tried oxtail before?" And I was like, "No," and I was like, "There you go." So they give me some oxtail. I'll do a video on that. I was like, "No problem." Yeah, so I did it. So I'm making my bone broth from oxtail now. It was lovely, like So that or what did they give me before? Beef brisket. I'd never had this because I wouldn't be or I've never been that adventurous. Like so, not that that's adventurous, but you know what I mean. But it's like find what I like. That's it. Just stick with it. But yeah. So yeah, no, they love when they see me coming in because they'll be coming out with. They have to help me out to the car with the amount of bags I get. So it's good.
So
It's good.
what's the from the things that they've given you to try, what is the best discovery you've made?
The oxtail by far. The first time I did it, I just threw them in the slow cooker, but I didn't put any water or anything on it. And I just left it in. I didn't even salt it, just threw it straight in, left it on for about 12 hours. Oh my God, it was lovely. It was like, the only way I could describe it was like, when you're having, I'm sure you've had oxtail as well, but for me, it was like, I would have loved caramel when I was eating carbs and sugar and that, like, but it was the way the fat had gone when I slow cooked it. Like I could barely open my mouth chewing it. It was that nice. So that was hooked then, yeah. So then said I'll try the bone broth. So I did the bone broth with it, and that was just lovely. So I've put 3 pieces of oxtail in, and I've enough to do me for 2 weeks. Like, so it's great. Like,
Oh,
definitely
that's
definitely get
fantastic.
every time.
Yeah, and as cuts go, is that kind of on the cheaper end?
Yeah, like it was seven. I think it was just over €7 for 3 oxtail. Like, so that's pretty cheap. Like, yeah, it's good. And the guys look after me as well, like in there. So it's it's good, yeah. But no, it's definitely affordable. Like if it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be going, like I'd look at what you call the other ones, the tomahawk steaks, and be going, I get them every now and again. But the oxtail now, yeah, I could get them every week, no problem. Like,
Nice. So, if someone asked you, "Okay, Keith, you look like you're doing really well, you've got all this extra energy, I want some of that for myself, and I've got some pounds I wanna get off." Tell me what to do. What advice would you give them for getting started?
um, well, do the little bit of research. So obviously, asking me would be the first part. And then what I've found. So I've gone into coaching now myself. And like I'd be trying to get people's minds to change, like how they view meat and all that stuff. Because it's like as I said earlier on, like when I looked at it, I was like, just eat meat. Sort of like, like people are going to be skeptical. I was anyway, definitely. So I just try and encourage people to eat more meat when they're starting, unless they're like they're coming to me knowing exactly all about carnivore. I would just encourage them to put more meat and to try and like lessen the amount of plant, especially spinach, because everyone I'm talking to at the moment, they're eating like copious amounts of spinach and all. And I'm trying to explain to them about oxalates and anti nutrients and all this, and then they're looking at me like, "Oh, huh?" So, but yeah, so definitely starting to try and cut down on the sugar. Definitely try and lessen the amount of plants, carbs, everything. Like ideally, if it was someone if I was talking to myself, I'd be just like, okay, just cut everything out except meat and eggs, and you're golden. Just your drinks, you're only drinking water and bone broth, and just do that. But most people won't, or they're like, oh, that's too hard. Oh, I couldn't give up drink. I was like, well, you can cut down on your drink, and phase it out gradually, or do for a month, see how you feel. You can go without a drink for a month because a lot of people do dry January. So I say, well, try dry January, try carnivore January too, and go that way. So that would be I, I've found people don't really buy when you say just cut everything out and just do this. They won't. They go, oh yeah, yeah, no problem, and then they want too much variety. It's not till they start to feel that little bit better that they'll notice. Especially here, yourself, people here drinking. It's you tell them not to drink, and they're like, forget about it. It's the religion. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like being originally Scottish, I feel like, we've got that seems to be something Scottish and Irish have in common, it's
yeah,
yeah,
I know.
a
I
lot
get
of
like
alcohol.
I don't drink and I don't eat vegetables. They're like, are you sure you're Irish? Don't have
We're
potatoes.
gonna have to take your passport back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you made some interesting points there about like when you tell people just to cut things out. People don't like that, I think, as a way of doing a new thing. People like, I think it's almost like it's a psychological thing. It's almost like if I'm trying something new, I have to be adding something, not taking away.
Yeah,
And so that's a kind of a psychological hurdle for people to get over, right?
yeah,
But the other thing is when people say, "Oh, I couldn't do that," when you say just meat and eggs and bone broth and water, and "Oh, I couldn't do that." That's also a kind of psychological barrier because they're basing their evaluation on whether they could do it or not is like where they are currently with their relationship with food. But what they don't understand is once it's been 30 days, 60 days or something like that, their whole relationship with food will change, right? Their whole perspective
absolutely. Yeah.
changes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think as well with people, they're like a lot of people say to me, "What, I'm eating healthy," and I was like, "Oh, right, what are you eating?" And then they're listing off everything, and you're kind of going, "Are you though? Are you really eating healthy?" Do you know? And then you want to be saying that you're actually not. Like you're doing so much harm to your body. Like, but so like that. What you're saying, people's relationship and people's mindsets. I'm getting my 5 a day and all this sort of stuff. Was like a common thing I get is like, "So what are you doing for your vitamins?" Steak. And then they start laughing like, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? I said, do you know what's in steak? And they're like, when they're looking, or then they're like, do you take creatine? No. What do you take? Steak. And they're like, seriously, like, I was like, why would I need to? Like, you don't need to. Do you know, if you're supplementing on top of your diet, it's not a natural diet then, so that was it. Like I did take
Yeah.
electrolytes when I started because, the initial phase now, but now I don't take them. Like I have my salt, obviously, especially before training. But yeah, like that's a lot of like I'm still waiting on the parrot and the wooden leg, for the scurvy that you get from not having vitamin C.
Right.
It's the usual when you
Yeah.
get, you're going to get scurvy.
Yeah,
No,
two and a
man.
half years in, I'm still waiting for that as well,
Yeah,
yeah, it seems to be a bit slow, but,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. Waiting to cook. No, but
Yeah. So, speaking you mentioned that you're starting to look into coaching and stuff like that, so how can people get in contact with you? How can they find you online?
so I'm mostly on Instagram. So I'm just my name, Keith Whelan _ That's me on Instagram. Or they can reach me on by email it's just carnivorewithkeith@gmail.com. And I have a website, just it should be out this week. I've just been working on that in the background. Yeah, so that's really at the moment where you get me is mostly Instagram, or you can email me to get me. Yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm hoping to branch out as well. Like once I get the website up and running, then I'll branch out to maybe YouTube as well. And I never really liked Facebook, to be honest with you. Like the Facebook groups, but just Facebook on its own, it never really did it for me. Um, but yeah, at the moment, that's really where I am. Instagram's the main spot for me anyway at the moment.
No worries. Well, I'll link to your Instagram and your email in the show notes.
Thanks very
Keith,
much.
thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks very much. Appreciate you for having me. Thank you.